Hello and welcome to This Board Game Life. I am Mark, and this is my month in review, and we're taking a look at March. Today is the last day of March, and I don't think I'm going to get any gaming in today, so might as well just record it now. So let's take a look and see what I have been playing for the last month. I'm going to start off with the games that I've just got to play one time. It was a total of 21 games played this month, down from last time, but I had several games that I played many times. So we'll start with Odin. This was a card shedding game. You are basically get a handful of cards that are like Vikings. You're trying to shed all of them, trying to basically get all the cards out of your hand before anybody else does. And then when someone goes out, gets rid of all their cards, everyone else ends up with a point per card left in their hand. And obviously you don't want points. So quick little game. Played that once. It was a 20-minute game with 4 people. Also, we played another little card game called Prey. This is a trick-taking game, and I'm not a big fan of trick takers, but this one I really like. This one you end up with you get 12 cards in your hand, and the cards are double-sided. Well, they're on the one side that you're looking at, on the face side, there's two sides to it. So there's a predator and a prey, and so one of the sides takes up more of the card and the other one is smaller. So the predator takes up more, and I think it's a darker color. And then it's a lighter color and a smaller portion of that card that you're looking at on the other side. And of course the bottom side's upside down. But anyways, they all have colors and numbers. And what you're going to do is, instead of the traditional trick taking where you look at it and go, this is how many tricks I think I can take, you are going to everybody rolls 2 dice. And you have a card that has a 0 and on a 1. And so it sits on the 0 side, and you roll your dice and you put your 2 dice down, and the dice have to be different numbers. If they come up, if you roll 2 6s, you got to re-roll the dice. So say you get a 1 and a 3. Well, that's telling you have to take 1 trick or 3 tricks to win that hand and to be able to flip your little card over to the one side. You need to win twice to win the game. So basically you have to get the number of tricks that you rolled, either on one of the dice. So you could end up with a hand that's really good and you can take a lot of tricks, but now you're just trying to slough them off because you have a 1 or a 3. You don't want to take more than that. And I think a lot of people probably don't like that in the traditional trick taking because you're dependent upon taking what the dice roll is. I actually found it very fun. I like it. To me, I think it levels the playing field, especially when you're playing against people that are very good at trick taking. So I don't know. I really like this one. I think it's a lot of fun. It's quick. It's very simple to play. And I think it's kind of fun if you have to try to get rid of cards. Trying to hold on and find that time to get rid of them. Now, I mentioned earlier that the cards are kind of in half. And so what you're doing is the very first 6 hands that you play, you're going to play on the predator side. Once 6 cards have been played, everybody flips their cards over, and now they're playing on the prey side. And so you have different numbers. So it's just a really kind of a neat little mechanic, and I like this way that Prey plays out. Also got to play Fromage. This is in a game about French cheese making. This is I found it really fun. It's not a complicated game, but I would still say to me it feels like it's a medium weight game because you only get 3 workers, and on your turn you have 4 players max, and the board is this round board that does rotate and spins around, and you get a quadrant. So it's broken into 4 quadrants. So on your turn, you are working on your quadrant. You're placing a cheese out, and you have to age the cheese. So you put your cheese into a spot, and then you put your worker in, and it goes in like one of three directions. And what happens is when the board rotates, if the cheese ages just 1 month, then the worker will be facing you back once the board rotates. Then anytime your worker is facing you, you take the worker back. And it works the same with resources. So you're aging a cheese and maybe getting resources on that turn. But then if you put both of them out to get resources and age a cheese, then you have one worker for your next turn, which means you are either not aging a cheese or you are not taking resources. So you have to really plan on when your workers are coming back, what's going to happen in the next section, what are your goals, what are you trying to do in each of the sections. And each of those little quadrants on the board is like a mini game. And so they all play different. And it's not a long game. Plays relatively. We played this in 35 minutes. We had 4 players play in 35 minutes. It actually was really quick. And yeah, it's a fun game. And if you missed it, they actually have, and this is not sponsored. None of these are sponsored, but I liked the game. And they do have a game Kickstarter going on right now, and you can buy the original game Fromage, and they also have a new standalone expansion coming out called Formaggio, which is based on Italian cheeses. And then, so if you have both, you can actually mix and match the player boards from both games, and so check it out while it's still there. Next, oh, this one I'm gonna put this one up to the top actually. Oh, Finca. Played a round of Finca. We had a 5-player game. I'll tell you what, Finca at 5 players can be a mean. It's a rough game. Resources disappear quick. You have to get your resources and very quickly use them, because with 5 players, people are taking resources, and if the supply runs out, everyone has to say someone goes and says, I need oranges, and there's not enough in there, then everybody puts all their oranges back in the supply, and then the person that was there gets to take what they want. So you'll find out, I got all these oranges. My next turn, I'm going to take them into town and sell them. Nope, you got 4 other people that are probably competing for oranges and might steal them from you before you can get to it. So this is a real tough game at 5 players to get your deliveries made. Finca is a fantastic game. It is so much fun, and I definitely highly recommend it to get this. This game is now in 2024. I think it was Pandasaurus did a reprint of Finca, and that's how I've got to secure a copy of mine. So if you don't have Finca, this is one that's a lot of fun. All right. Played Ethnos, 2nd edition. This was, trying to remember this one. We played this after we played Civolution, and I kind of remember it. Let me quick. Ethnos. I gotta look this one up real quick. Ethnos, 2nd edition. I'm trying to remember exactly what this one was. I thought it was. Oh yeah, I think you were. Oh yeah. This one. I just needed a picture to. So it's a little area control game, and you're using cards and putting your little castles out, trying to basically have more majority in each little area to score points in each round. This was really fun, and I did really like this game. And there's a market of cards sitting there that you can take on your turn. You can take from there. You can draw off the top, and there's various things that you can do. There's another card that you had out. I think it was the monkey card. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to recall from one play a couple of weeks ago, but I think it was a monkey card, and then you could place. You get points by the more of the monkey cards than the colors that you could get. So you could score points each round for those. But so it's kind of like a little separate thing outside of the main area control for Ethnos. But this was a fun game. The Artwork was really nice. The gameplay was simple and fun. Again, a quick game. We had 4 players, 1 hour, and we were done. And that was with a teach because I had to be taught. All right. Also played Forest Shuffle. Again, 1 hour for I think we had 5. Now let me double check. Yeah, we had 5 players playing Forest Shuffle. Took an hour to play. Again, there were several of us that had to be taught. I think there was 3 people that hadn't played it before. It's a really fun game. It's overwhelming at first that because there's so much on the cards, and you're planting you're planting a tree, so you got to get trees out, and the different types of trees will do different, score you different points and do different things. But then there's like the animals and stuff that you're trying to put around the tree. You're trying to get those cards, and they all have these different things. So you can either play the card. Some cards play on the side of the trees, to the left or the right. Some will play on the top or the bottom. And maybe you've got butterflies, and so you put the butterfly on the tree, and then you got to, the more butterflies you have on different trees in your forest, score you various amounts of points. So, and you're trying to draft them from the market or taken from the top, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot of print on the cards, but it's a fun game. Really do enjoy it. Highly recommend it. Next game we played was Flamecraft, and this again 5 people, 1 hour. This is a cute little worker placement, resource management. You're going around trying to basically kind of get an engine going on where you're going and making things happen to get as many resources and points and different things as you're going around. The little shops that are on there they're cute. They got cute little names. Unfortunately, I can't think of anything at the moment. Maybe I can find one real quick, but they, a lot of them are like, oh, I know what store they're really talking about. And let me see if I can find one real quick here, just in a picture. But it's a really fun little game. You got these little resources and things that you're trying to gather to get points, and you're going to, like I said, all these different shops. I don't think I'm going to be able to find a shop name. I'm looking through BGG, but they aren't showing actual shop names. I'm seeing close-ups of the cards, but not with the shop names, and maybe that's for a reason. But they're cute. You'll know when you see the cards and you see some of the shops. Here's one. Let's see. Let's see if anything. Well, those aren't really good examples. And anyways, some of them, like you'll see and you'll be like, oh, that's a cute. It's the way they do kind of a play off like a real store chain or something. But Flamecraft is a fun game. It is a medium, light to medium, but it's a good way to, I think, bring people into that style of game. Doing the worker placement. It's a nice jumping off point, and it's a cutesy game, but it still has a good amount of meat to it. All right. I also played the Manhattan Project Energy Empire. This one is a classic. We had 3 players on this one. Took us an hour and a half to play. We had one new person in the group who hadn't played this one before, and I believe I actually won this one, which was nice. I think it was my first win for Energy Empire. But it's just a fun worker placement. You're trying to get buildings out. You're trying to purchase these buildings with resources, and you can go into like one of 3 sections, like government, industry, or commerce, I think, and they're colored different. So if I go into the government area and I take a building, then you can put that down in front of you, and then you can place like a worker on those buildings. So if you always place a worker on the main board. That's how you start. You have to put a worker out on the main board. And then again, if you're in one of those three industries, then you can basically fire off the or trigger the same cards that you have by putting workers or energy onto those cards that are in your area, but they have to belong to that. So I can't go to the government area and then fire off an industry card. You can't do that. I can only fire off additional government cards. So it's a nice way to engine build, try to manage your workers. And if you want to go somewhere where someone else has already gone, then it's going to cost you an energy. So if someone puts a worker out in a spot and I want to go there on my turn, I have to put a worker and an energy. So it basically costs me like 2 to go there. And then if the next person wants to go to the same spot, they have to put a worker and 2 energy. So now you're trying to manage, okay, maybe I wait till they recall their people, then I can go there for just the 1. But if you need it, it's going to be a little bit more costly. And then when certain buildings will cause pollution on your board, so on your player board. And so that's going to impact your points at the end of the game. So there's regular pollution, and then there's like nuclear pollution. And if you have the nuclear pollution, it's going to take you like 2 times to clean that out of your environment, where a regular pollution will just take you 1 cleaning action to get that. So you want to kind of keep the pollution a minimum, because if a board's full of pollution, then that's going to impact your ability to earn points at the end of the game. So it's really fun. There's a lot of options to get resources, to do cleaning, to gain buildings, to all types of stuff. And you got a lot of resources like oil barrels. There's dice in this game. So you will be rolling dice every time you kind of do a recall of all your people, you're going to be rolling dice to see how much energy you get for the next turn and how much pollution you're going to cause and what type of pollution. And then there's this kind of the way the round countdown is, they have these like cards out that the first 3 rounds, they're kind of helpful cards. And then the last 3 rounds, they are pretty devastating. They can cause some pretty brutal changes to the game, which make it a lot more interesting and complicated. But Manhattan Project, Energy Empire, outstanding game. Check it out if you haven't played it. It's a classic, and it is by far one of my favorites. All right, I also got in 2 plays of Thunder Road Vendetta. So one of them was just the normal game, Thunder Road Vendetta, and then the second play, we broke out Carnival of Chaos, which is the latest expansion that turns that race down the road into, you're racing into an arena, and then you're just circling around in the arena and duking it out, and it is a lot of fun. Both the original game and the arena are just chaotic fun. If I have my choice, I will play Carnival of Chaos expansion over the base game, just because it completely turns the game into this arena combat. Like, it's all combat. The base game is you're racing down a road, and if you're going fast enough and go off the edge of the 3rd tile, then the 1st tile and all the cars that are on it get removed from the game. So you can race real quick to eliminate people that might be slower moving down the road. And it's still combat. It's still very combat based. But I just found the Carnival of Chaos just, you are confined to circling around each other, and there's all these super weapons, and there's these party favors that come in that do different things in the game, and there's these pillars that'll jump up and down, and you can end up running into them or be sitting on one and get launched and your car destroyed. And there's so many, it's just, they ramped up the excitement of the game, and I think it focused it more on the combat, which I think everyone really loves in Thunder Road Vendetta. So if you have Thunder Road Vendetta and you don't have Carnival of Chaos expansion, I highly recommend it. It is fantastic, and you can't go wrong. It's really great. All right, I also got to play Viticulture. This was my first time playing this one. We played the Tuscany Essential Edition, and this took 2 hours for 5 people. And it was, at first, it was a little, for me, my first play, trying to learn how to play it, there was a lot going on, but I did enjoy the game. I'm not a fan of the theme of winemaking and stuff, but it was a fun game. I really did enjoy it and look forward to playing Viticulture, the Tuscany edition again. Now, the one thing I do know is I've only played this once, but when I was getting the game, everyone said you got to get the Tuscany edition. And so, looking through the rules, prepping to play this, there's a big difference between Viticulture and having the Tuscany expansion. I mean, it's like a you get a different board in the Tuscany. It adds so much more to the original Viticulture game. And I have not played just Viticulture by itself, but I would recommend this is a game you have your eye on, get the Viticulture Essential Edition and then pick up the Tuscany Essential Edition. That's what you're going to want. There will be some confusion in the rules because it's like the Viticulture Essential Edition there's so much changed that sometimes, like, we were looking in two different rule books trying to answer a question, and it was like there's so much difference between those two games. It really is I feel like Viticulture came out almost, and I don't want to say half baked, but it's like it came out, it probably on its own is a really good game, but there was so much like more added in, and just it's like you've got to have this, like this is the expansion, like you got to have to, a lot of games you can I don't know how many games I have where I've got expansions and then I never play them because the base game's so good, and it's like you're always teaching someone, so you never want to throw an expansion in when you're teaching someone new how to play the game. Kind of the downfall of being in a game group with a lot of people is there's always someone new that you're teaching, and it's like, okay, well, let's just play the base game. Most games are great that way, but I think Viticulture is one of those. It's like you've got to have this expansion to really bring out this whole game, and it adds so much more to it that you don't want to play without it. But that's Viticulture, really good game. Let's see. Next, I played. Oh, it's sitting right here because I had to box it up to do the video. Recklin Run. I did do a learning playthrough, trying to learn a game. I didn't record it, and I will eventually. I'll record a playthrough of that likely, but I gotta learn the game better. It's supposed to be like a 30 to 45 minute game, and I think my first 30 to 45 minutes, and it was like 2 hours for me my first time. But again, I'm looking through the rule book, trying to learn how to play and understand it. But Recklin Run it's a fun little game. You got your car out. Think of like Mad Max, the game. So you got dice that you're rolling. You've got your little car out in front of you with different weapons on it, and you're trying to protect the core of your car. And once that takes enough damage, then your car blows up. But you kind of surround the middle of your car with all these different weapons, and then the enemy they got their little cars come out and they surround your car. So your car mat's pretty good size, and then they have little cards that go around, and they'll do certain damage, and they move around to attack different. They basically circle around your car. So after they attack, they'll move from like behind to the left of your car, and then you got to use the weapons on the left side of your car to shoot them. And they're when they attack, they're going to send an attack on the left side of your car, things like that. So it's a fun little solo game, and by Scott Almes, and it's fun. It's also a story based, so it has like this flip book. So you're going through, like, you open it up, tells you how to prepare for the first mission, and you open up the envelope to pull out things that you'll put into that first one, like the boss and some additional cards. And then once you defeat that, then you flip the book over to part 2, grab the second envelope, unlock more content to put more stuff into the game. So I think it's got 7 chapters, and then there's an expansion to it, which gives you, I think, an additional 3 scenarios that you can fight. So keep an eye out for that. I will probably get a playthrough of that out up on the YouTubes here, probably in April. All right, let's see. Civolution. I had a 4-player game of this. This was my first time, my only time playing Civolution so far. This took us a while. This was was it 4 hours? 4 hours. I don't know if that's a good or bad, but took us 4 hours. All of us, it was like, I think only one person in the group had played it before. I'm not 100% sure on that. I may have been the only one that hadn't played, but this is Stefan Feld's new game, and it is a meaty game. You've got card play, you've got your player board, you've got a board in the middle that you're trying to, not, I don't think it's necessarily area control. I don't know if that's exactly what it's called, but you are basically moving pieces around and in this board, and it was a fun game. I definitely need to play it some more. I don't really know. It was one of those at the end of it, I was like, at the beginning, I was lost. And then in the middle, I was like, okay, I think I'm finally getting this. And then by the end, I was like, okay, I'm lost again. Felt like it was completely off the rails and doing everything wrong, which I probably was. But it's it wasn't. I think the problem is there are so many options in this game. So you rolling dice, and then you have to put the dice on your board, and it limits what you can do. Because certain actions are going to require certain dice. So if you don't have them, then you can't do it. But there's a lot of things you can do in this game, and I think that's the overwhelming part of this game is when you're trying to learn it, there's just so many things that you can do. And it can be a little debilitating, a little frustrating, a little like, oh, what do I do? I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And you're trying to, do I need to focus on my cards and getting these cards out? Do I need to worry about the middle of the board? There's just a lot happening. And I do look forward, and if it comes up again or we have the opportunity to play again, I'll definitely jump in and play again. This is one of those, it's like I'm going to have to play a couple times to probably really get that feel if it's something I like or I don't like. One play was just not enough to really form an opinion. And a lot of board games, unless it's a simple, easy game, usually it's going to take us several plays to understand, get the full grasp, and then go, okay, do I like this or not? So Civolution, I don't have an opinion on it other than I want to play it again a couple more times to make a determination on what I think. Also, next was Bullet Heart. Played this a couple of times. Basically was doing some, let's see, this was March. Yeah, they were both solo plays. I think the first time I played it completely wrong. Played the boss, like misinterpreted the way the boss card worked. And I'm like, wow, this was easy. They never even attacked me. And someone in the comments was like, you did that wrong. So I played it again, and it was like, oh yeah, okay, I got my butt whooped. Big difference. So, but Bullet Heart's a lot of fun. That's also, there's a Bullet Star, and if you like quick games, when you're playing it competitive with other people, you got like 3 minutes, and you're basically you're pulling these bullets out of a bag, and you're placing them down on your board, and they're going to come down your board. If they get to the very bottom, they move over and they do damage to you, and you can only take so much. You only have so much health. So you're pulling these random out, you're putting them on the board, and then you've got these cards that allow you to do if they meet a certain pattern, then you can remove them from your board. And then you have these action abilities that you have so many points on each round that you can move these things around to try to get that pattern or get these patterns met, so you can remove these bullets from your board. And it's the same way in the solo game, but you don't have the timer. So the solo game is probably the best way to learn it. You get rid of the timer and that tension that you have until you get kind of a good grasp of it. Then it's a lot of fun competitively, because the bullets that you're taking out off your board, they go to another player. And then on the beginning of the next round, all they get the starting amount of bullets, but they also got to take everything you remove. So it's kind of like you can load them up if you can be real quick and get stuff off your board. You're giving them more to deal with, and they have to play everything in their bag. So it's you're giving them more shots. You're taking more shots at them, and it's a lot of fun. All right, next up. Okay, so again, we're into the games I've played twice now. So Bullet Heart was twice. Also played a new little card game, Tether. Played this one twice, and this one you've got these little astronaut cards, and they're numbered, and you're placing these cards out, playing them out on the table in front of you. And this is a 2-player game, and you will sit across from each other. And as you're placing your cards down, I don't have a good example. I don't have a card sitting here, but you place the cards out, and the one player is going to play basically vertically. So they're going to see the cards kind of across, up and down, I guess, in front of them, while the other person is going to be playing it horizontally. So they're going to be playing cards and looking at the numbers from left to right. I would be going up and down. And you're trying to match, you have to match numbers consecutively. So I got to put like a 52. If there's a 52 on the table, I got to put a 53 above it and a 51 below, type of thing. And then, or they would, go left or right on the numbers as well. So there's multiple numbers on the cards, and you're working to try to make these groups. And once there's a set amount, I think it's 6 cards, 10 cards, and I want to say 16 cards in a group, then you score, and it scores based on like how many cards you have total in my direction, and they score how many they got total in their direction, and then that's how you score it up. So it plays pretty quickly. We did 40 minutes to play those, so not too bad. All right, next I also got 2 games in of Rebirth. I finally did get to play the Ireland side of the board. So I did play the Scotland side, which is kind of the main, that's where you start. The last time I played, we did play the Ireland side. So you flip the board over, it's a different map, and it brings out some new tiles and different cards. And there's like this public goals, and everyone can see them, and you're trying to compete for those. You have a double marker that lets you pick one of those that you put your doubler on, and then if you can get that, it'll double the amount of points you get on that card. There's other things like that if you go to these other little tokens that are upside down, so when you put something next to it, it flips over, and it'll be like, hey, take another turn, or pull 3 tokens out of your bag and pick one to play on your next turn, or there's these different bonuses, if you will, that allow you to, it completely changes up the game and the way the game plays, and it was a lot of fun. I really, really liked it. So that's Rebirth from Dr. Knizia. It's an excellent game. Either way, however you play on the Scotland side or the Ireland side, the base gameplay is the same, but the Ireland changes up a little bit and adds some more things to it. So really a lot of fun. Love Rebirth. That is a fantastic game. All right, next I also played some Cities. I got this one in a couple of times as well. This is a really fun, quick little, it's I'm going to say lightweight. I don't even know if it's medium, but you've got you got a center board that's out, and you have the bottom part is building tiles, these little plastic building tiles that you can stack up in your area. So there's 4 spots. First spot gets 4 buildings. The second and third spot gets 3 little buildings, and the last spot, there's nothing in there, but you will randomly draw 2 buildings from the bag, and then you get like the first player marker. So you get to go first on your next round, but you don't get the option of picking, you don't know what color buildings you're going to pull out. And then above that are these features for the parks and the water. There's little tiles there. Above that are tiles that you're going to start placing out in a 3x3 grid. So where everyone's going to have a little city that they're going to build. That's going to be 9 tiles. total. It has to be a 3x3, and you're going to be able to put buildings up be on certain tiles. You're going to have some that are that have water on them, and then you're going to want to get the water features out to score points for those water tiles. You're going to then some are park tiles, where you're going to want to get the little park feature tiles to put there to score for those. Then the building tiles you can build from a level 1 to a 4-story building, and they all have the color has to match what the bottom tile shows. So if it's red, you have to put red buildings on top of it. So, and then there's these at the top of the main board that they'll have like a city name. This is a little board that will flip upside down, and there's like a whole bunch in the box. So basically, it's all these different cities, and they'll have different community goals. So basically, it's a race to whoever gets to the first one, and then each city has 3 different goals that people can work towards, try to get there first to get the bonus points. You can, if there's a max of 3 people can score. So in a 4-player game, only 3 people can score on each goal. So it is the first 3 people to get those done, get those points. And of course, if you're first, you get more points than second or third. So, and then on a 2-player game, you're either getting, if you're first, you get the most points. If you're second, you get the least amount of points. You remove the second middle point goal in a 2-player. It's a lot of fun. It really is. Oh, and then on your turn, so in a 3 or 4-player game, you can only, so I mentioned that there's the building tiles, there's the feature tiles, and there's the actual tiles you will put out to, put the foundation of your city. And then the top row are scoring cards, point cards. And so you're going to get those out, and basically that's going to be how you score your points in this game by the buildings, using the buildings. You're going to score so many points for every blue building that's too high, or 4 high, or green building, or a set of one of every color type of thing. Now on your turn, you take one of your meeples out, and you can place it in one of those rows and take, a point card or a new tile or a feature or some buildings. And then you have to place them in your little city. So you're doing that, and then it's really quick because you're doing one thing, you're taking it goes to the next person, they take something, and it goes around real quick. And so in a 4-player game, there's only 4 of everything out. You only get to take 1 out of each row. So in one round, I will take 1 set of buildings, I will take 1 point card, I will take 1 building card, and I will take 1 set of features, and that's it. So you're also like, okay, which one benefits me to take? What do I need the most of in my very first pick? So then again, it might be advantageous to be the first player and take on the next round, but then you're only taking 2 random buildings when you could get 4 of a color that you can use. If you pull randomly 2 out, you may end up with 2 that you can't build, and then those go out of the game, and you have no points for it. So it's really simple, it's fast, it's fun, and again, it's a game that's really good for all players, whether you're brand new to the game or not. All right, let's see next. All right, almost done. I got 3 left to talk about. Marvel Dice Throne missions. I've played 4 different missions in the new Dice Throne Marvel. Really thought I played more than that in March, but maybe I had some in before that. I think I did get some done in February. But so looks like I played 4 times in March. Again, Marvel Dice Throne missions. I got it sitting here. I need to break it out and play some more. This is really fun. If you like Dice Throne, the Marvel missions is an expansion that allows you to play solo or cooperatively, playing Dice Throne cooperatively against Marvel bosses and henchmen, and it's really fun. It is so much better than Dice Throne Adventures, which is a lot of fun, but there was so much overhead to that I found it too hard to get to the table. This one is not as big of a table hog. You can set it up and be playing in just minutes, and it's just the way they design it and set it up. It's just really well done. So that's Marble Dice Throne Missions. Did 4 plays of Clank Legacy 2. So this is we've got my group's got 2 more missions. We're going to finish this Wednesday. So we're going to complete our Clank Legacy 2 campaign this week. That will be done. I liked Clank Legacy 1 a lot better. There are some neat things in the second one, like game mechanics and stuff, like scratching off cards and this boss battle deck, and there's some different things that are really fun, but like there's something about it that it's not as fun as the first one. I really can't put my finger on it. And one of my other fellow co-players, one of my friends who I went through the first one with, her and I both kind of felt the same. Like this one's just different. It's not as much fun, even though it's not just the same thing. I mean, it is. If you've played Clank Legacy 1, there's, the board's double-sided. There's the story you're going through. I mean, it's still kind of that same thing. They've added a bunch of stuff to this, but it's like there's something different where the story, I don't know, it's just, I'm not feeling it. And maybe it's because we just played the first one last year, and maybe there just wasn't enough time for us to kind of between the 2 Clank Legacy games. But this one just is like, I'll be glad when it's done. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not feeling this one as well as the first one. But yet there's some of the things they've got in the game that I like better. So I don't know. It's weird. But all right. So lastly, the last thing, my most played game this month was Unstoppable. And this is from John D. Clare. This is a solo / cooperative game. And I've put this up on the channel, so you've seen this one. You did see my last video. I finally won a game. Woo-hoo! It helps to play it correctly. But Unstoppable is a fantastic game. You are you're doing basically, it's a deck builder, but very unique where the cards are sleeved. So there's, you will have a threat on one side and then like your card on the other side. So when you're battling out against a threat, you defeat a threat, you get to pick that card up, flip it over and put it into your deck. And then you can also upgrade these cards so that they get more powerful for you. But a lot of the upgrades will also make the threat side more powerful and harder to defeat. So now you got to like balance out, okay, how bad do I want that upgrade? Can I overcome the negative part of that upgrade? And not all upgrades will cause the threat to get harder, but many of them do. So it really creates this unique situation of how do I want to upgrade? Because the upgrade's not just an upgrade necessarily. It is once you have it back in your hand, but is it going to make it harder to get that threat eliminated and into your hand? So I really like that. There's several different bosses you can fight. I've only played against one, and now that I've got this game kind of down pat and understand it, I will be moving on and trying some of the other bosses. So look for some maybe put more playthroughs of Unstoppable here coming up in April. All right. Well, that's my March in review. So let me know what you think. Did you get a chance to play any of these? Please feel free to comment in below and let us know your thoughts on any of these games, or what did you play? Love to hear from you. And again, thank you for checking in. I forgot to hit the button at the beginning, but if you're still here, please hit like and subscribe, and be sure to hit that bell icon so you don't miss any new content like this as it drops later today. All right, thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Uh-oh.